Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome into a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush. You heard Chuck's call from Saturday in Nashville as Arkansas falls to Vanderbilt. In the second half, I don't think anyone could predict. You had a lot of momentum after the technical fouls, everything that went down there, and then Vanderbilt just shot the lights out in the second half. Defensively has really been your calling card for most of this season, but it was not on Saturday. I know that was disappointing for Eric Musselman, this team, and for you all as well, and that's where we'll start this morning.
Hot Take Monday, as always, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The top brands at the best prices. We're talking Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone Alliance. Those are the names you know when it comes to an RV. At the prices you want and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. It's all at Wheels RV, again, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale.
Zach brings up already that he's ready for some weighted vest practices, as they did that. I think the last 2 years, bricks and some other things were used, and he feels like the jawing that they did against Vanderbilt came back to bite him in the second half, and I can't say that I disagree with him.
Well, we can get into that, but certainly Anthony Black's performance did not live up to all the talking. We'll start there and we can go from there. But disappointing to have a lead. Then you fought back. You were down 10 or more at times. Then you came back and you were within 6 with 2 minutes to play, and you just couldn't put the possessions together on both ends of the floor to extend the game or to win the game. But you were never really out of the game either. So, but it never really felt like you were going to threaten to win from about the 10-minute mark on. But you just kind of menaced and hung around and was hoping you could find that shot or two late that you needed to maybe extend the game to overtime or have a shot to win it at the end.
Anthony Black had a superb first half, but really did not show up as much in the second half with only 3 points. Again, if you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. Even as a true freshman, he's got a lot of things to learn. And I think on Saturday, when you play a team in the Southeastern Conference, especially in their house, nothing's free. And Arkansas, I don't know if just expected Vanderbilt to wilt in the second half, but they did anything but that. Now, give the Commodores and Jerry Stackhouse credit because they fought back and they did so valiantly. They hit an insane shooting percentage, 69% in the second half, which is just gross if you're Eric Musselman based on the way that you preach and practice defense. But that was the story of the game on Saturday.
And Liam Robbins, who came off the bench for them, was just he had 14 points. That doesn't lead the way. He was a big factor in this ball game. Arkansas didn't have a lot of answers for him at times in the second half, it didn't feel like.
Nope. He had 14 points in only 15 minutes in the second half, so he was outstanding. And Arkansas got hurt from the outside. They got hurt from the inside. He had quite an impact that opposing big men were just not able to curtail him to a certain point. But it wasn't just him. It was the guards. Several Vandy guys continuously hit a barrage of threes on Arkansas. I know one of them was Eric Musselman was talking about not to go left. I'm forgetting which guy he was speaking to, but they continuously let him get to his strong hand, and he carved up Arkansas as a lot of other guys did in that second half.
Yeah, so that was about as wild a first 20 minutes. And I guess really, let's see, trying to think of the first set of technicals and all of that happened earlier in the half. Then they had another scrum, if you will, with about a minute to go. Mm-hmm. What was that, about 11 minutes or something like that when that first problem happened with Black getting pushed and all of that. That was a wild first half. You had all of those technicals and Stackhouse gets stuck. Then you have a trainer or a team manager or whoever faints on the sideline and has to be carted off on a gurney. I mean, that half had basically everything you'd ever imagine could be stuffed in there.
Mm-hmm. And Arkansas was the benefit, the recipient of those calls. You should have been stuck at least once, if not twice. Anthony Black started fake crying to the opposing team and the fans, and he should have been stuck for that and wasn't. So Arkansas really, again, was the beneficiary of maybe some calls that went their way, which rarely happens on the road, and it did. You got that luxury. You didn't take advantage of it, though. Ricky only hit 4-6 free throws, and then in the second half, you didn't shoot a poor percentage. I think you finished with 42 in both halves. You just didn't defend a lick in the second half.
Yeah, how about shooting from the floor or shooting from the floor and 49% for the ball game? But if you'd have told me, bro, that, hey, 84 points, you're going to have 84.
No, they scored 42 both halves. It's like.
So I thought you were talking about percentage sake. But if you'd have told me 84 points, if you knew that information, that one nugget, hey, I'm going to give you one thing off the box score. Arkansas has 84 points in the ball game. I'd have lost a lot of money. I mean, I'd have lost – I don't know if I'd have lost it all, but I'd have lost a chunk. It would have been you'd have unwound the rubber band on that number.
Yeah. It was you take that 9 times out of 10. They shoot 49%, probably one of their best offensive performances overall in the SEC. But I will say this. I was not aware of this until I looked it up. Vanderbilt does have the number one offense in conference play from an efficiency standpoint. They're dreadful at defense. And really, again, they gave up 84 points at home. It's not like they played great defense. Arkansas got what they wanted at times. But when you're giving up 3 after 3 after 3, a lot of those twos that you're making, they just didn't amount to it. They did hit 7 of 18 from 3. Yeah. It's not like they shot the ball poorly from 3. Anthony had a couple. I think Ricky had a couple. So it's not like they were just horrid from the long range. But again, this is supposed to be a defensive-minded team. And when you give up 97 points, there's not many college basketball games you're going to win that way on the road.
You only gave up 34 in the first half, 63 second half points. 6 of those 10 threes that Vanderbilt hit were in the second half, where Vandy, you talk about red-hot shooting, 6 of 9. But more than that, 21 of 23 at the free throw line in the second half. Arkansas in the second half saw the line 10 times, made 7. So, I mean, there's the difference in your ball game right there.
Yeah, they got to the line a lot more than you did. They were the more aggressive team in the second half. You're still having those 0 for 2 free throw run-ins where you'll get to the line, have 2 free throws attempts after getting fouled, or it'll be a double bonus situation. You're still going 0 for 2, which is just mind-blowing to me that you still have some of those possessions.
Well, but Arkansas had 14 attempts in the first half, and I think 7 of them came on that technical sequence where you had 7 attempts all at once. Mm-hmm. Black had 1, and then Council shot 6 more.
Yeah, that 4-6 sequence. Yeah, it was frustrating. And even like in that situation, like Kamani Johnson picks up a tech, he runs over a Vanderbilt guy, and then they get into it a little bit. Now, there was a sequence right before where it looked like he got hit, and there was a no call on that. But that's supposed to be the leader, one of the leaders of your team. It's supposed to be the guy that you look to for guidance. And for Kamani to have an outburst, you could tell he was frustrated with himself following that little spat in the second half, because that's something that's not typical of him, really, for the most part. He's usually the one holding guys back and doing things. You just lost your composure on Saturday. That's plain and simple how it went.
I'll tell you this, Anthony Black better be an angel moving forward, because he's going to be on everyone's radar screen, including the guys in the stripes with the way he behaved at times in Nashville. All right, more to get to here on this Monday. Chuck joins us in about 20 minutes. We're brought to you by World of Wireless, your local dish dealer. They're your premier dish dealer as well, which means any offer you've gotten in the mailbox, flyer, email inbox, anywhere someone's offered you a deal for dish, they can meet or beat that deal. They've been around for more than 25 years installing satellite systems. They know what they're doing. Free installation, free movie channels. The voice-activated remotes are normally $25 a room. That's a free upgrade right now. It works with Google Assistant. You push a button on the remote. You speak in Arkansas Razorback basketball. It will pull everything up on the guide. You can choose to record or schedule a recording or whatever with that. It's just simple and easy. You want to watch football, NFL football. It also has Netflix and Prime Video and YouTube tied in to your stuff as well. 877-305-DISH. Get a 3-year price lock. That's the best deal. World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH.
All right, we'll talk more basketball. Also want to get into some NFL playoffs and the Kendall Brile stuff coming up.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts. For more than 4 decades, Burton Pools and Spas has been your source for backyard fun. In that time, Burton's has built over 12,000 pools and installed more than 8,000 hot tubs. That makes the Burton family more than 20,000 members strong. See your options, our story, and customer reviews at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. We do more than build pools and install hot tubs. At Burton's, we build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas. Springdale and Fort Smith, your source for backyard fun.
Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric has been the most trusted heating and air company in Arkansas for more than 50 years. As the winter weather changes from hot to cold, trust the pros at Pascal to ensure your system is performing at its best. Right now, get a heating tune-up for only $99 per system. Want full protection and member discounts? It's only $1 more per visit. Call today or visit gopascal.com to schedule online anytime. Professional people, professional service. gopascal.com.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work. No finding a sitter. No sitting in a waiting room. No wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pickup and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith or is free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I appreciate, Ty, you and Tommy having me on this morning. It's always great to join the morning rush.
50 seconds to play. Black all the way to the rim on the other end. It goes and one. And now we've got another scrum. The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. You can listen to it at hitthatline.com or wherever you hear your favorite podcasts.
Chuck's going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes. We're going to get his reaction as he was live in Nashville. Also want to get his thoughts on what he thinks the Dallas Cowboys are going to do tonight. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, NFL games, we've already seen 5 of them this weekend. A lot of really good games. We'll react to some of those games coming up.
Hey, we're brought to you by The Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security, or maybe you just want a better look, better curb appeal for your home or office location? A new fence from The Fence Man can give you both. They've been around for more than 40 years, and The Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access for your business that you may need to protect your perimeter. Call The Fence Man. Ask about 18 months, same as cash financing as well. 782-3936 is their number. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
So I watched a little bit of every game this weekend. Probably the most intriguing one was the Jacksonville Jaguars coming all the way back against the Los Angeles Chargers, a game that they were down mightily, and they ended up getting a game-winning field goal in Jacksonville. What a game that was between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert.
I made the rookie move of turning that thing off to wake up Sunday morning. I was kind of falling asleep and turn that thing off. They were up to this thing interesting. I'll find something else more entertaining. Wake up and I'm reading all these posts and stuff on Twitter. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And I had to go check the score. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, I mean, that's why you don't turn the game off. But it was about 90-night time on the Saturday night when that happened. But, man, there's some wild finishes and some stuff, which is why it's called Wild Card Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, we were watching the game after at kind of a bowling alley place, and it was one of those games, like you said, where we got disinterested because of the fact that the teams were so far apart at some point. You thought the Chargers and that group was going to run away with it, and they didn't. So give credit to Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and those guys, because they played their hearts out in that second half.
Yeah, the way Lawrence, I mean, what was it, 2 early interceptions in that ball game and just looked out of sorts to overcome that mentally to get your team back in that spot's pretty remarkable. I don't know how far they're going to go, and they may have one more game in them, but yeah, I mean, to have such a rough start for Trevor Lawrence and to come back and to win the ball game, it's got to be pretty satisfying.
He's got to play a lot better this upcoming weekend in Arrowhead against Patrick Mahomes and company. You can't do that against Mahomes, or you'll get the brain sprayed out of you. That's the divisional round game this weekend. Is again, wild cards kind of shifted up a little bit because of the additional teams and games. The Giants moved past the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins and company not able to get it done at home. That was another really good game as Daniel Jones had a spectacular day. He looks a lot like Eli Manning, plays a little different though. The ability that he has with his legs has really kept defenses on their toes.
Yeah, and that one stayed pretty competitive throughout. I kept a pretty good eye on that one throughout the day. So, you know, we'll see. Giants now. Well, I guess we're still waiting to see what happens tonight with the Cowboys and the Buccaneers to see who goes where. But good chance they're going to go to Philly, which is going to be a tough inter-division NFC East game if they end up there.
Yeah, and I think the Niners will host the winner of the Bucs and the Cowboys tonight, which I'm curious to see how many Cowboy fans actually thought. The Bengals got it done against a Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens group, and it was a tough, hard-fought divisional game as well. Joe Burrow and company survive on a last-second attempt. If you watch I watched the high. I didn't stay up for it.
Yeah, that I had to go. I needed to go back and watch the Arkansas Vanderbilt game, so I kind of started that about halftime, try to catch up, get that done. Then I go back over. I see the play at the goal line. Or try to stretch it out. Ball comes loose.
Yeah.
That reminds you of anything?
Yeah, KJ.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, what a turn of events there at the end of that ball game for the Bengals.
Yeah, another backup quarterback played okay. Skylar Thompson, the Dolphins, they went toe-to-toe with the Bills. Bills were up 17 at one point. They thought they were going to rout them, to be honest, and then Miami and McDaniel and them kept coming back, and it ended up being a 3-point game where Miami got stopped on, I think, a 4th and 6 after a delay of game, but that was another good. Again, we had a lot of games this weekend that I was thinking, man, these are going to be blowouts, but that's just not typical in the NFL.
Yeah, and I really, that was the surprise for me of the weekend was the Dolphins and how close they played the Bills. Bills were lucky to win that ball game, and the more I thought about it as the game unfolded, can you play with that much emotion 2 weeks in a row? I mean, there was a lot of emotion the week before. The opening kickoff gets returned. There were 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. Playing for your teammate, and we know that story obviously very well at this point. Can you really peak emotion? I know it's a playoff game. You shouldn't have to say much or do much, but I would imagine there was some mental exhaustion for the Bills prior to this game.
Yeah. Mac is our residential Jacksonville Jaguars fan. He's watching us on YouTube this morning. He says that Trevor Lawrence and the Jags are going to shock the world this Saturday when they take on Mahomes and the Chiefs. He says, I don't know if this is true or not, but that he's never lost, I guess, an NFL game on a Saturday, so he'll get another opportunity again against what many believe is the best quarterback in the National Football League in Patrick Mahomes. Last game, the one game that was a blowout, kind of got to that point, was San Francisco and Seattle. Again, Brock Purdy, the rookie quarterback, has not lost yet in the NFL as a starter. They really opened it up offensively. He's got so many weapons. He's got McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. He's got what many believe is the best offensive mind in the National Football League in Kyle Shanahan. Of course, the Shanahan legacy is something the NFL has known for quite some time. But San Francisco is going to be a tough matchup for the winner of the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Bucks tonight in, not Candlestick, but I guess Levi.
Yeah. I mean, that's a long ways to go and get easier for Dallas to get. Tampa ends up out there, which history says they should. Based on Tom Brady's performance against the Cowboys. But, I mean, playing well right now, a lot of confidence. I just don't have a lot of faith that tonight the Cowboys are going to find their way out of Florida with a win.
Micah Parsons is going to have an OCU Manura, Michael Strahan type of game. You think about how those Giants teams were constructed that beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots back in the day. The reason is because the defensive line of the opposing team was just up in his grill all night long. So for Micah, he's got to have one of those one-of-a-kind special type playoff performances, because I'm like you. I just don't know how many Cowboy fans are confident. But if he plays like he's capable of being, and I know that some people call him Lawrence Taylor Light, which is a comparison that most defensive linemen would always take, he's got to have one of those games tonight.
Well, to me, it's about Dak Prescott. He's got to have a Tom Brady-like performance. Old Tom, older Tom. Well, younger Tom. Older Tom, younger Tom. Tom from about 5 years ago. That's the kind of performance Dak Prescott needs to have tonight. So it may be as much about the way Dak performs. Certainly those interceptions he threw against the Commanders leaves you with a lot of concern. And hopefully he's got that flushed out of his system going into tonight.
I know Jerry Jones is going to be a nervous wreck tonight. He knows that his football teams are 0-7 against Tom Brady. He does not want to be 0-8 after tonight, but it is a different team. Tom Brady, even though he has statistically is still pretty good, this is not the typical Tom Brady that we're used to, the level that he usually plays to.
And is McCarthy coaching for his job? That's something that seems to be circulating out there, but that's not really Jerry's style either. All right, Chuck coming up in a minute. Hey, if you're out fishing for cold water bass on Beaver or Table Rock, or you did like I did last week and you headed over to the White River, take along the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. It will help you catch those fish with that famous rolling action, whether it's a heavy current or you're working it in slow water. This Rogue will suspend and stay in the strike zone longer, helping you catch more fish. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores everywhere. It's the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
We'll get his thoughts again coming up on this Arkansas-Vanderbilt game that we watched on Saturday, what he saw and his reaction. Our number, 877-377-6963.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale. And
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
For today, Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about. A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Locally owned Lumber
One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
All right, well, now let me ask you this. Is baseball better served by replay on that play, or is baseball better served by the lore of Don Dinkinger? Here we are almost 40 years later.
Yeah.
And for Cardinal fans, he's a household name. And for Royals fans, I mean, they buried him with a ring. I mean, it's the truth.
Not gonna lie, when Chuck was talking about it on Friday, I had to go back and watch those games because I didn't know what y'all were talking about. Y'all both knew you were talking about, but I had to go watch that.
As a kid,
85.
Chuck was a little older than me when that happened, but that is something that still haunts any staunch Cardinal fan to this day. So maybe Saturday will haunt some Razorback fans, maybe not that long, but we'll talk about the game Saturday in Nashville with Chuck. We're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Top brands like Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, and Alliance. Best prices you'll find in the area and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. Wheels RV is 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Chuck, good morning. Was that about as wild a first 20 minutes of basketball as you've seen as the voice of the Razorbacks? I mean, that half had everything in it.
Yeah, it really did. In fact, about, I don't know, at the 7-minute mark, the under 8 timeout, right before all that happened, I made the comment to Z during a break, because this is what we do. I looked at my watch and said, man, quick first half.
Oh, you jinxed it.
We're going to be out of here fast.
Oh,
we're going to be home by 6 o'clock.
Oh, no.
And, it just didn't happen that way. Then it all broke loose during the next segment.
So it's your fault then.
It's my fault. It was the broadcaster's jinx is what it was, yeah.
That often, as an official, you go in the locker room, you never say, boy, that's a quick first half.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be home in a decent hour.
Yeah, no.
It just didn't work that way.
So, I mean, not only did you have all the technicals, but then a team manager, someone with the team, fainted on the sideline.
That was right. He was right by us, and he was okay. By the way, everything turned out all right there. But it was just you had everything.
Yeah. Has Anthony Black, at least outside of our borders, guys, painted himself as the conference villain? Who was that guy from Ole Miss a few years ago?
Marshall Henderson.
Is he the Marshall Henderson? Is that what he turned into Saturday with the rest of the league?
Well, I mean, certainly he was a marked man in Vanderbilt. I just thought Arkansas's youth and immaturity showed, and I just don't really know how else to put it. I just thought, not just, in some of the incidents that I know we always talk about after games, but I thought in the second half their youth and immaturity showed just in the way they played. And, look, this is a good team, good players, good coaching staff, but Saturday was a really bad day. And when you give up 63 points in the second half, you've had a really bad day. And so, that's just kind of where they are right now. And I thought in the second half, after all that happened in the first half, when I saw Liam Robbins throw Anthony Black to the floor on a rebound and, no whistle, they looked away like nothing happened. I thought, man, we're not going to get a call the second half. Black's not going to get a call the second half. That part didn't really matter at the end, but Arkansas was on their heels for the last 17 minutes of the game, and Vanderbilt just blew them out at the end.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Right after those free throws, Ricky Council got pushed in the back while he was shot right in front of Doug Schaus. Just didn't. You knew he wasn't going to get that call.
There was not going to be a call go Arkansas's way the rest of the day after all that.
And then Mikal Mitchell looked like he got. It was incidental, but he got hit in the face, and they
let Vanderbilt make up for everything in the final 17 minutes. And I'm not saying that's why they won. And I've seen this happen before, and I wasn't surprised by that, frankly. But, Vanderbilt got everything after that.
I thought just watching Schaus and KB and Jason Baker work that they were frustrated with what they were having to deal with. That's not what they had signed up for, and that's what they were having to to deal with. And you had a strong crew chief on that game. That if you were going to have what go down in this game, that was the guy to handle it because he knows he's been in those situations. He knew exactly how to deal with the coaches.
Now, I will say one thing, and I agree with you. I think Doug Shouse is a good ref. I thought when he threw Magnon out, when he was very demonstrative about it, if you watch the replay, the way he did it, he couldn't see what was going on. He was throwing the guy out. He turned his back to it. He looked like a baseball umpire throwing him out. But in that 3 or 4 second span, his back was to what was going on. And he couldn't see what was going on. I thought he was too demonstrative in the way he threw Magnon out. And as a result, I thought he missed some of what was going on inside in the aftermath.
Well, he had two partners that were right in the middle of the other things. But
I agree with that.
The one thing I'll say, Magnon and Devo had gotten tangled up there. We don't know what was being said, and I'm sure it wasn't an invite to Sunday school. There was not. It was not an invite to Sunday school the next morning, whatever was being jawed, but my guess is it was going both directions. What we don't know is exactly what was said in that moment or what threats were made.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it was look, those are not
it's not easy.
It's not an easy deal to sort all that out. But, Arkansas extended their lead to 10 with 17:02, 17:10, something like that to go. So it's not like Vanderbilt just came right out and the first thing they did was, carve the 8-point lead to 2. Now, they did it pretty quickly after it got to 10. But, it was just as I say, it was a bad half. I thought their youth really showed, and Vanderbilt. I mean, they did what they did. We all saw it.
69% in the second half is what Vanderbilt shot. Now, Chuck, you just referred to maybe Arkansas's youth showing some immaturity, but I think what Arkansas fans were frustrated with is Kamani Johnson, who is considered a leader on this basketball team, and who in times this season I've seen him pull guys back and talk to them about that. He has that play where he just runs over the Vanderbilt guy and then gets a technical fall in that. That was what I was disappointed in.
Well, now don't misunderstand me. When I say immaturity, I'm not talking just about those incidents. I'm not saying that. That's part of it. But I thought the way they played and the way they did not react to what Vanderbilt was doing in the second half, the way they didn't, punch him back, so to speak. I thought, Arkansas's most aggressive moment, quite frankly, was at about the 7-minute mark of the first half when all that stuff went down. That was really their last, really what I would call aggressive period in the ball game. I thought they were on their heels the entire second half. Now, why, I don't know. But I thought they were just on their heels the entire second half. Vanderbilt was the aggressor in every way. And, I know what the scouting report said about Tyron Lawrence, and it was don't let him go left. And all you got to do is go back and watch that second half. All he did was go left. I mean, that's all he did. He just, he just went to the basket over and over and over again. And I know they were coached not to do that. I know they were. But, sometimes it doesn't work out that way, even when you say it.
Here's what Muss said about the second half.
Thought we didn't defend the three. I thought number 0, Lawrence, dominated us off the dribble. The scouting report was no dribble drives left, and he continually went left and blew by us. Taking away the 3 was what we discussed the last 3 days, and they made 10 threes. Rebounding the ball was extremely important. We did not rebound the ball defensively like we felt we should. Just a poor second half.
So is that on the players just for not executing? I know people always want to blame the coaching staff and particularly the head coach, but, I mean...
It's on everybody. It's on everybody. Everybody on the plane. It's on everybody. That's how it works. I mean, when you give up 63 in the second half, there's not going to be one person. I mean, all that speaks for itself. I mean, when you give up 63 in the second half, speaks for itself. I mean, it's a failure on everybody's part, and I think they'd all say that.
I think Hodstad said that's the most points you've given up at half since, 96 or something?
Yeah, Auburn, the most they've ever given up, 71. I think Auburn scored 64 back then, if I'm not mistaken.
None of that's good. None of those 3 games.
Well, you just don't think of Vanderbilt scoring 63 and a half. I mean, let's just be frank. You just don't think about that.
And despite all of that, with 2 minutes to go, you're down 6. and things didn't go your way in the last 2 minutes. I mean, you didn't make the shots, but you still had a chance with 2 minutes to go, and your opponent scored 63, and you were still at least in the ball game. You know, if it was a boxing match,
score-wise, you were still in it.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean,
but it would have taken a full-blown miracle.
So they started Ricky, Devo, Anthony Black, and the two Mitchells. They went big again. Coach talked about after the game that when they've gone big, they haven't defended the three as well. He shifted to more of a guard-oriented and forward-oriented lineup in the second half, but still, it didn't matter. Like
I don't think we're going to see that again. I don't think we're going to see the Mitchells starting again.
I'm curious to who he starts on Wednesday night. He was talking about after the game, just kind of the adjustments they need to make. But I don't know it's more important who finishes the game that starts. But I think we'll see another unique starting lineup on Wednesday night in Columbia.
Well, when you say unique, I don't know how many options there are there. I mean, it's not like you've got 10, 12 guys there that you can just reach down there and pluck another one in. I mean, I think the most logical assumption would be you take one of the Mitchells out and you put Walsh back in. I mean, I think that would be the most logical assumption. I don't know that there's any far-fetched, magic wand solution here.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're going to, brain trust your way out of this, to be very frank about it.
Let's talk about Jordan Walsh for a sec, Chuck. He had a stretch where he's playing really well, and then conference started and hasn't been going his way. He's prone to fouls, and he picked up his third in the first half. He's a good defender, but it sure seems like he's getting called for a lot of whistles because he's handsy at times.
Well, again, I'll go back to what I said a little bit earlier. I thought their youth showed, and I think I don't think it's the first time it's shown. I think Walsh is a young player who's trying to figure it all out, and there are days when he looks like he has, and days when he looks like he hasn't. And I'm not going to pin anything on him Saturday. I'm not going to pick on Jordan Walsh. I mean, it wasn't, it was all the guys and everybody. And so, they got to get production out of a lot of folks.
Chris texting in, he feels like the basketball and football seasons are comparable in the fact that they've had some injuries and they had higher expectations and both teams haven't necessarily lived up. Now, I know the season's not over for basketball, but do you guys see some similarities with how the football season went? Now the basketball season has gone to this point?
I don't compare the two. I mean, I understand what he's saying. I haven't really thought of it in that, in that respect, but I understand why he would say that.
Well, we had much higher expectations of this basketball season than we had baseball-like expectations of this basketball team, and I don't know anything. I mean, we got 20-some-odd people that work in our organization. You take the best 2 or 3 out of it, and do you get better? No. I mean, anything that has 12 or 15 people involved in your primary rotation of anything, business, sports, your Sunday school class, whatever it is, you take the best 2, the strongest 2 out, it doesn't get better. And that's just where this is at, and there are no replacements right now. So I'd like to think this thing's going to turn around at some point, but I think we need to come to the realization that's not a likely outcome.
Well, for this team to win, they're going to have to do some of the things that, frankly, they did not do Saturday. This may not be, and I know they scored 84 points Saturday, but this team's got to they got to make free throws. They got to keep the other team off the line. They've got to be really gritty defensively. They got to get every rebound. They got to keep the other team off the offensive glass. They got to limit second chance points. They can't turn it over. When they get turnovers, they got to score off of them. When you start talking about all those things, when you've got a young team that's not a great offensive team, you can't just do 3 of those 5 and win. You got to do all 5. You got to be good in every single area when you're not a great offensive team. And if this team doesn't play defense, they have no prayer. There's no chance that they can win if they don't play defense and rebound. And, you look at what happened. Arkansas rebounded the ball well in the first half. They did not in the second half. Now, they didn't have much to rebound as far as Vanderbilt's concerned. There wasn't a whole lot of defensive rebounds to get. But they got to do all those things to have a chance to win, whether they play at home or on the road.
the hell of it for me is the fact that you made 7 3-point baskets, which is out of character for this team, right? I mean, Council and Black were the guys making, I think they made 5 of the 7. You hate to waste one of your good 3-shooting performances in a loss. I mean, you're just going to be streaky. You're going to have days where you do make 7, but those should be the games you absolutely win. And here you come away with 7 3-point baskets, Chuck, in a loss, and that's disappointing because there's going to be a day you're going to need those, and they're not going to go in.
Well, I just thought Vanderbilt was so anxious to get the ball back because they knew they were going to score. I mean, it just turned into that freewheeling type game at the end. And again, Arkansas scored 42 points. That's that's a good half. But when you give up 63, doesn't really matter. Hey, I know it's a new year, and obviously, if you are perhaps thinking about selling and buying a home, that means things might have changed in the previous year. Maybe your family got bigger. You need a bigger home. Maybe the kids are out and you're going to downsize. Whatever your real estate situation is, I want to recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, to you. And I recommend it because of my experience. I partnered with them to sell a home, partnered with them to buy a home. I didn't know what I was doing. They did. And that's what made it work because I partnered up with a real estate team that's made up of professionals, made up of well-trained people. They understood what I did not understand. They knew how to negotiate. They knew how to get from contract to close and put this thing to bed because that's what you want, whether you're a buyer or a seller. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale and Bentonville. They're in Fort Smith, and they're in Branson, Missouri now. You're going to see their yellow signs all over town. And, again, you can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
Arkansas got some good news over the weekend as Tyrone Broden has committed to the Razorback. He's 6'7" wide receiver from Bowling Green, had over 500 yards and 7 receiving touchdowns this past year, I think, for the Falcons. I think that's their team. So Kenny Guidon's done a good job with, I think, 3 transfer recruits. Chuck, right now they have the 5th highest transfer portal rankings on all 3 sports. They're not done. We know they've got a couple more days this cycle, and then when the next cycle after spring rolls around, they'll bring in some more players then. What have you thought about just their overall haul to this point?
Well, we're going to have to see when they play, but it certainly looks as though they've signed some good players in areas where they need good players. Rankings of the transfer portal class are, kind of like rankings of high school kids. I mean, sometimes it's right there and sometimes it's not. Sometimes when you get into transfer kids, it's not just about ability. It's not just about ability. There's more to it than that. I think about Jordan Dominic, and Georgia Tech, Arkansas, Colorado. After playing well at Arkansas. The transfer portal is really unpredictable. Who gets in, who goes in, who ends up where, really unpredictable. I mean, it's great that your portal class is highly thought of. That's great. But you got to get them in here, and they got to perform.
He joins Miles Slusher in Boulder. You've also got Marcus Henderson kind of going back home. He'll join Simeon Blair in Memphis. Those were kind of some moves over the weekend. Speaking of moves, so Lincoln Riley's brother Garrett was the TCU offensive coordinator for Max Duggan this past season. He is now going to be the OC at Clemson. There's an opening right now for TCU. Kendall Briles has been linked to that job. I don't know if there's any traction or not. He's always going to get linked to certain jobs. But, Tommy, what did you make of just kind of that happening potentially this week?
You never know which reports have more validity than others, but it said that they'd closed in on him and they were, that he was the target. He was the bullseye of the target of their search. So, Texas is home. Anytime he's linked to a job in Texas, Chuck, I get a little more nervous or apprehensive about his departure just simply because that's home base for him. And TCU's obviously a program that, was at the mountaintop this year. So this one would make me nervous if there's a lot of validity to the reports.
Yeah, I don't know if there is or not. I mean, I was with basketball all weekend, and I'm just kind of like you guys. I'm just reading this, and I don't really know any more about it than what I read. You're right. He's from Texas, and you're right. TCU's got it rolling right now. But other than that, that's really all I know about it. And, I will say, offensive and defensive coordinators move around a good bit, and, every fan base gripes about their offensive and defensive coordinators, and then at the end of the year, somebody else tries to hire him. So, obviously he's highly thought of. in football circles, and but what the situation is there, I just don't know.
It just feels like you're on the backside of the coaching change cycle. That if you're forced to hire someone now, if you're in Sam Pittman's shoes, a lot of moves have already been made, a lot of things are settled.
No doubt.
Feels like you're on the backside of that change cycle right now. That would not be to your advantage if you're the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, I do know that most every coach out there, head coach, tries to be 2 steps ahead of the game in terms of, who might go and what you do if they did. So I'm certain that, it's not the first time Kendall Briles has been, if he is being pursued, it's not the first time he's been pursued. So I'm sure that, they've had thoughts before about, what do we do if he goes? So, I would not anticipate, let's say he does go, I wouldn't anticipate it being forever before they name another coordinator. In other words, I think, this is something you prepare for. Hope he doesn't go. And again, I just don't know if there's, I don't know what there is to this or not. I'm sure he's on a wish list, yeah, but just because you've been mentioned on somebody's website doesn't mean you're really in the game.
Yeah. And, not that a tweet's a binding contract, but you got the tweet that with the run it back and him and KJ, and I don't, that doesn't lock you into anything, but it certainly was your declaration, at least at that moment. So
is the TCU job more attractive than Arkansas? I don't know if Duggan's back next year or not. I think he declared for the draft, so he's gone after that. I know Chandler Morris is actually their backup right now. That's the supposed.
No, I don't think it is. Just to answer your question, no. I don't believe it's a better job than Arkansas's. Is it a very good job? Yes. But Arkansas's job is a very good job too.
Yeah. Here's the only thing. I agree with everything Chuck said, but Texas may be more of the draw. Home may be more of the draw. That home state may be more of the draw than anything with him.
Might be. I mean, I
can't speak for him. I'm just saying how a lot
of
it's
interesting. It's interesting. I mean, we don't really know Kendall Briles as a fan base very well. And this is kind of the norm now around college football. Head coaches shield their coordinators. They don't make them talk to the media. Petrino's the last guy we've had that really made the coordinators talk to the media. I mean, he made them.
He didn't want to.
I mean, that was part of the deal. It's like, if I'm going to the firing line, you are too. And that was kind of how he operated. But that's the last time that, if I'm not mistaken, the coordinators have regularly, been a face of the program, so to speak. So, we don't really know our coordinators from a personal way, the way we might feel like we do Sam Pittman.
Yeah, I just know Kendall Briles. I was just confirming this in the media. He's got 3 kids. He's a young guy. I know this. When you've got 3 at that age that are still kids, being closer to grandma and grandpa and home base and having some help, particularly when you're gone a lot, that's a conversation that at least has to probably come up. So.
Well, maybe. I mean, they run in a different tax bracket than we do, and a lot of the things that are difficult for us aren't as difficult for people that are in that tax bracket. So, this, as I say, I mean, we're all just, I feel like I'm just talking out of the side of my mouth. I have no idea whether or not he's going to go or not.
Be something to keep an eye on this week. Make sure you're following us on social media at Hit That Line. We'll be updating you the information, if there is any information to update. I know there's always, as Chuck just said, people complain and moan and groan about the OC, the DC all season, and then when they get pursued or potentially leave, people are freaking out, like acting like it's the end of the world. Funny how that works.
Yeah. Hey, we're brought to you by WT Equipment. They have 8 locations to take care of customers across Arkansas and North Louisiana. If you're in the agricultural or construction business, you need to know somebody and start a relationship with WT Equipment. They are your New Holland sales, service, and parts dealer. So if you need equipment to put up harvest next year, to put up hay this next summer, or you need something for the work site, whether it's a track loader or an excavator, they've got it in both new and pre-owned inventory. So when you're ready to invest in agricultural or construction equipment, hey, make one stop at WT Equipment. They have 8 locations, including Searcy and in Springdale. Find one near you at WTEquip.com.
All right, when we kick off hour number 2, we'll come back to Arkansas basketball, falling on the road 97-84 to the Vanderbilt Commodores. Also touch on the Dallas Cowboys. Big game tonight against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All that's coming up in hour 2.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The hottest swim jig on the Arkansas River right now is the Booyah Mobster. It was designed by the Muddy Water Mob, a bunch of river rats from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it's winning tournaments on Dardanelle and Kerr like clockwork. If you're fishing submerged vegetation, water willow, lily pads, you need a Booyah Mobster to reel them in. Available at lurenet.com and tackle stores throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma, the Booyah Mobster.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, and football is in the air, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, we'll go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
Looking for a better rate of return on your savings? Arvest Bank is ready to help with great rates on certificates of deposit. For a very limited time, you can earn 3.03% APY on a 7-month CD or 3.55% APY on a 14-month CD with a minimum deposit of $10,000. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Hurry into Arvest before this deal is gone. Annual percentage yield available for a limited time only. Other rates and terms are available. Member FDIC.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric has been the most trusted heating and air company in Arkansas for more than 50 years. As the winter weather changes from hot to cold, trust the pros at Pascal to ensure your system is performing at its best. Right now, get a heating tune-up for only $99 per system. Want full protection and member discounts? It's only $1 more per visit. Call today or visit gopascal.com to schedule online anytime. Professional people, professional service. gopascal.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
The Golf Nut has been Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994. Beat the heat. Book a time in their hitting base with the TrackMan technology or play around on one of the many courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Needing help with your game? Call Matt Brooks today and schedule a lesson using the simulator. For the best selection of clubs, shoes, and apparel, stop by the Golf Nut today. 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 stop shop for everything golf.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front-row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, just a chance of a few morning showers. Otherwise, we will see gradual sunshine. Our high today, upper 60s. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, and overnight low in the low 40s. Gradually seeing sunshine Tuesday, our high in the low 60s. Taking a peek at Wednesday, showers are high upper 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
You're listening to the Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Man, it's just falling apart. Arkansas scored 42 in the second half, same as in the first half, but Vanderbilt with 63 points. And the clock strikes 0. Wright dribbles it out. Vanderbilt has won this ball game in convincing fashion. They outscored the Razorbacks 63-42 in the second half. They win the ball game 97-84.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatOne.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
It's hour number 2 of the Morning Rush on a Hot Take Monday. We've been trying to piece together this morning what happened in Nashville, where you really had a lot of momentum heading into half, and then Vanderbilt just kind of took it away from you. A barrage of threes from the Commodores. Jerry Stackhouse and company got it done while you lost another road game in the Southeastern Conference. Guys, you're staring at the barrel of a 1-5 start in conference play, depending on what happens Wednesday night in Columbia.
Let's talk about it here on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The place you get a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. That's the top brands like Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, and Alliance. Again, it's all at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
So is the jury out that you can rattle this young team? Has that been now showcased multiple times that SEC opponents are going to try and rattle them and talk and chirp and get them off their game? Because that's what happened on Saturday, it looked like.
Well, I don't know that, Vanderbilt chirped Arkansas out of their game. I just thought in the second half, Vanderbilt just, they did anything they wanted to do. Arkansas didn't play much defense. There weren't a lot of rebounds to get because Vanderbilt seemingly made every shot. I mean, I'm no math major, but 63 points, 20 minutes, that's over 3 a minute. That's hard to combat. I mean, that is hard to combat. And Vanderbilt, for the final 17 minutes of the game, they just did everything they wanted to do, and Arkansas looked helpless.
Yeah. Made 21 of those 63 at the free throw line. That's what Arkansas needs to do in a game, is go 21 of 20-something. And Vanderbilt did that in a half. The killer also was 6 of 9, Chuck, behind the three-point line. That's hard to overcome.
Yeah, and I mean, they hit threes. They drove to the rim. I mean, it seemed like every time Lawrence got the ball, he was going to the rim. And they got some kickouts, and they, they just, again, they did whatever they wanted to do in the second half. Arkansas, I thought, going into halftime, like everybody else, I mean, I felt good about it. If you'd said Vanderbilt's going to score 63 points in the second half, I mean, we'd all laughed.
Yeah.
But that's what happened.
I don't know how many half-court possessions they have, but I'm sure someone's counting those back at the practice facility and how many of those they score on. We look at a football game and there's usually 13 or 14 possessions for a football team, and you can break those out by half. I don't know how many half-court possessions they had, but seemingly they scored on nearly all of them, Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, they just, they shot, 60-something% in the second
nearly
half?
70%, yeah.
And for a lot of the half, it was over 70%. I can remember looking down at one point, it was, we were well into the second half, and it was like 74%, I think, in the second half. They just, they didn't miss. And I didn't think that, I didn't think Arkansas you hesitate to say they didn't put up a fight because you're not out there. But, they didn't punch back. They didn't combat what Vanderbilt was doing. And, Musk talked after the game about competitiveness. And, I thought as the game wore on in the second half, Arkansas was playing, but sometimes you're just playing to play. Yeah. Sometimes you're just playing to play. And I thought there were points in the second half where when it got out of hand, I just don't think Arkansas was competing hard enough to combat what Vanderbilt was doing.
Go ahead.
What do you think that, the last scrum and technicals and all that happened with 43 seconds, 50, whatever it was, there's a minute to go, just inside a minute. I mean, it seemed like they'd kind of working through that stuff that happened with 7-8 minutes to go. What do you think that did to change the dynamic or the mindset or the halftime conversations in both locker rooms?
I don't think it affected Arkansas at all. I'm sure it affected Vanderbilt. I mean, I don't know what was said in there, but I know Stackhouse was mad, and they, their crowd was mad. But again, Arkansas increased their lead. I mean, they went from 8 to 10 inside the first 3 minutes of the second half. So it wasn't like Vanderbilt just came out in the second half and, shut Arkansas out, right away. Now, they did pretty quickly after that 17-minute mark. I'll give them that. But, I'm sure it had an effect on Vanderbilt's emotion. There's no doubt about that. But you still got to go out there and do it. I mean, you can, being emotional and fired up. People think, well, if you'll just get fired up, all those shots will go in. Sometimes you can get too fired up. Those shots don't go in. And but Vanderbilt was at the magic level, as they call it, in the second half. And once they hit their stride, Arkansas couldn't stop them.
So in the second half in conference play, Arkansas has not fared well with the exception of the Missouri win. Do you get a sense that this team gets tight when the score gets tied in the second half and they lock up on occasion?
I don't.
Here's what I saw Saturday, and here's what I've seen a little bit before on the road. You got, I'm not going to call them grown-ups, but you got guys who've been around the block a little bit more than our guys have been. And I think that there is there's a mental toughness. There's a poise that's required if you're going to win on the road. There's a competitive level that you have to display on the road that you might not always have to display at home. I don't know how else to put that. I mean, it's you against the world on the road, and you better act like it. You better fight like it because nobody's going to help you when you're over there. There's not going to be any crowd helping you. And I think that the fact that they've just not been through this before. These are all, I say all, a lot of these kids, they're accustomed to winning, and that's good, but a lot of them have played on teams that were better than everybody else. And so I think sometimes players who've played in really good, successful programs get into the college situation and they go on the road and, they're playing guys that are 2 years older than they are, and they don't always react real well. And I think we've seen that with this team. Good players, outstanding players, but guys who really don't understand on the road what's required. And it's a hard lesson. And I don't care how good a player you are. You get on the road, things start snowballing against you. There's nobody there to help you. If you're not a fighter, you're going to get blown away.
Even Saturday, I mean, Chuck, you'd be able to tell us better. I mean, I felt like there was a lot of Arkansas fans there. It's not like it was the Jungle or Thompson Bowling or Rupp. I mean,
it was pretty loud.
It
was pretty loud.
It was.
Their crowd was pretty loud. Our people didn't have anything to cheer about in the second half. They weren't a factor.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they were there, and it's terrific that they were there. And when things are going well, you hear your people. But, no, it was a road game. And, it was a true road game.
Yeah. I heard you and Z talking that outside of the students, you thought there was probably 30% of the crowd or something before tip-off that were
well, I can tell you after
red.
tip-off it wasn't that way. I guess Vanderbilt's people know they can get there whenever they want. There's not going to be a crowd to fight because they ended up with 9,300 people in there. And that, from my experience, that is the first time that, I really thought Vanderbilt has a home court advantage today.
Yeah. All right, back at it tonight here on this Martin Luther King Day at Sassy's. You and Coach Muss will be there tonight. Talk about the game Saturday, the upcoming week ahead. Catfish, burgers, best barbecue you're going to find. Got fried pies if you want to polish off the meal. You'll have the Cowboys and Buccaneers on. Chuck is tonight with Coach Muss and Eric Musselman live.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We always I like doing the show on Martin Luther King Day because we always have people there who, some of them had a day off work.